Arise and shine from whatever it is that you're watching us at this morning. This is Lookuptv. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. But most certainly, this is the Morning Drift. Welcome officially to E-Friday right here on the Morning Drift. We have a jam-packed session for you today. It's interesting topics. Let me just give you a tease of exactly what it is that we're getting into today, this morning. And by the way, Muguru Kimani is officially back to E-Friday right here on the Morning Drift. She'll be joining us shortly in the studio. But as I wait to introduce the gentleman who's right with me here in the studio, let me just tell you exactly what it is that we're looking forward to. Today, we're going to speak to the youth. We'll be telling you exactly how to define what your worth is. How do you know your worth? In fact, what is that? We're going to make a definition of that. And also, this morning, Muguru Kimani is going to get into a conversation with a musician who has decided to embrace farming. Who that is, she'll be telling us shortly as we get into that conversation. So I'm telling you, it's a jam-packed session for us right here in the morning. And also now then, let me introduce officially DJ Kolita to the Morning Drift right here on E-Friday. DJ Kolita ni aje baze?
Niko fiti.
Kofiti sana?
Niko fiti kabisa, uko aje?
Yeah, fiti manze, kabisa. Let me, acha nikuulize swali moja. Unajua ikifikanga Friday ndio tunasemanga leo usiku utakuwa wapi ama tutakuteka wapi? Hebu tuambie leo usiku utakuwa wapi?
Leo niko tu pale mtaani.
Okay.
Nafanya mambo yangu nini, doing my job. I normally make mixes for the so-called big DJs. Yeah, that's what I do normally on Fridays.
Fiti. By the way, even as we open the show today, there's a clip that imekuwa ikitrend kwa mtandao by the way ya Mustafa. Sijui kama unakumbuka ile jamaa alikuwa anaitwa Colonel Mustafa. Yeah, by the way akifanya mjengo. Evu ni video anataka kudrop ama ni maisha imeenda that side? Wewe unaweza mtuambia.
Me personally,
yeah.
Mustafa is my friend.
Yeah. Oh, he's your friend?
Yeah.
Bro, so unaweza mpigia simu mazee, tusikie bro ni aje, tufanye contribution ama ni clip una drop?
Nilitaka kumcall jana ni kama kidogo, simu yake iko.
Oh, iko mteja?
Kama amezima simu. But wasanii uko nje kidogo tunaumia.
Hebu niulize, ni wapi kulienda wrong na Colonel Mustafa? Because kuna time alitry kume comeback by the way. Na sijui kama ngoma yake ilitoka out of fashion ama ni nini ilienda wrong?
Unajua tuko 20th century.
Yeah.
Whereby watu wa saa hii wa focus na wa kitambo.
Yeah.
Unapata mswa kitambo sema kama Colonel Mustafa hizo siku agement yake sasa ni wasi maybe wamemachua, wako na watu hii,
yeah,
wako na family, but sasa mtu atukiambia for example atukiambia mtu mdogo tu unajua Colonel Mustafa atumwimbie ngoma hata relate nayo. Yeah.
It's not got something bad because that video has been doing I would say it's been doing paces online. Colonel Mustafa mazee ako mjengo. Anyway, but for those guys but maybe today DJ Kolita, one of these fine days we'll start playing your music right there from all the way from 9 to 9:30. Maybe unaweza drop ya ngoma moja Colonel Mustafa. But for those people who don't know, I think Komaki ilikuja 2018. The last track ali drop ilikuwa hapo 2022, si ndio? 2022. Yeah, he has a song. He was trying to make a comeback.
Actually, to be honest, hiyo song ikitoka.
Yeah.
Mimi ndo msee wa kwanza kumhost.
Maybe DJ Kolita after this tuongea tuone kama tunaweza pata Colonel Mustafa ndani ya studio next Friday. Mkamuku na yeye tuongee hiyo story, si ndio?
Yeah, true.
Pretty much, man. All right. Now, officially, that is DJ Kolita will be joining you all the way from 9 to 9:30, dropping those bangers right here on Friday. But just like I said, it's just a jam-packed session for us there. Muguru Kimani will be walking shortly into the studio. In fact, even immediately after we get into the news bulletin, I'll be getting into that conversation with Michael Lisalia and Eric Mondi Nana as we talk about how to know your worth as a youth. What is that? You know? So let's settle back today. Take it easy on E-Friday right here on Lookuptv. Remember, online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. Myself, I am at Kiage Simba. We take a tiny breather. Once we come back, let's look at exactly what it is that you're waking up to this morning in terms of what is big in those news headlines. Good morning. Welcome back. Senators are now calling for the prosecution of Kenya Airways officials responsible for losses and be forced to repay the funds in a question. The senators have cited the sale of a special landing slot at Heathrow Airport to Oman Airways in 2016 at about 7 billion shillings. In an exclusive interview with Lookuptv, Cecilia Lubanga, Kisii Senator Richard Onyonga alleged that unscrupulous individuals have been stealing money from taxpayers for the last 24 years through the bailouts. Let's take a look.
As of December last year, KQ's loss stood at a record of 38.26 billion, triggering debates on the operational and financial status of Kenya Airways that demands for a thorough probe into the cause of the losses. Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka, however, introduced a twist during the Senate debate, stating that the KQ belongs to two business entities, Serengeti Investments and Savo Holdings, a matter that raised eyebrows and created uproar on social media.
I know for fact, because I have got the facts, I can sit here and explain. Leo imekuwa siku nzuri sana kwamba wanariadha wote wa Kenya na wale wa ng'ambo wamekuja na wamewakilisha kwa mbio za nyika na inaendelea mzuri sana. In fact, we are really happy about what has happened. We have our sponsors. Lotto is with us and they have really supported us, and this is the cross country that we have always wanted to have as an international one. We are really excited.
The Gold Cross Country is a culmination. We have been supporting the cross country for 7 years. So this is good that we move from the national to an international level, and it's good to see the turnout. It's good to see how the event has been organized, and we're hoping we get many more that we can partner with Athletics Kenya, the government, so that we grow athletics from a grassroots to a national level and now internationally.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the Lotto Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
Welcome to the show. This is the Cook Off with Alex Karani, where we get to cook some sumptuous, yummy food. Do you know how to cook?
I actually consider myself to be a good cook.
Bana hizi zitaungua damoni.
Kuna maji?
Maji si ndio hiyo hapo, ametumia maji yote. Ametumia maji yote.
Unajua kwa Masai kuna ugali nyingine inaitwa kiteke, unaweka mafuta alafu unaweka chumvi alafu unapika ugali alafu unakula na maziwa.
So unataka tukule kiteke? I don't know man. I don't know.
These people have been in marriage for 28 years without a child.
We have gone through ups and downs of life, but through all this, she has remained very, very prayer.
At what point, or after how many years in your marriage, did you discover that you could not bear a child?
Normally it is not a year. You expect to conceive almost immediately because like ladies, there is a period for a woman to become pregnant almost every month.
So today is their son's birthday.
Yes, by the way we've come on a
Mitch is
birthday.
turning 5 today. Wow. And we are here because of Mitch.
Michezo na wachezaji, matukio na matokeo uwanjani. Tumejifunga kibwebwe kukuletea mbwembwe. Si mazungumzo ya kusisimua. Ndiyo maana safu ya spoti ipo hapa kwa ajili yako. ZFC! Nami hapa nahodha Robert Chacha, sisuisui na kuandalia kipindi bomba cha safu ya spoti kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia saa 7:30 ndani ya runinga nambari 1 ya michezo Lookuptv.
Beautiful, wonderful, glorious. We are having the show that we share entitled Shepherd Voice.
I'm waiting for you to get me to Kenya. That's what I'm waiting
for you.
God is the source of every blessings that flow into your life.
And I know that God is going to bless you and to do a new thing.
Pray. Pray.
Usiwahi cheza na mboga yangu. Na unafuata nani? Usisikuone ukinifuata. Nimekwambia huna shares kwa hii kuku.
You got the roof, man. Hebu kwanza rudi ndani ufresh hiyo chona make sure umespray.
Juli, kwani wewe hii tumbo yako mimi najua inaweza ingiza kila kitu. Hata chuma nikishiaga nikupea hata plastic najua utakula. Kwani leo kunaendaje? Kuna kitu sielewi.
Kabisa Mluya. Yaani umeamua kulala uchi.
Sasa kama hakuna ile nguo inanitosha unataka nifanye aje?
Because you are fat.
Sasa ukiongelea mimi ati fat. Na Julie tutasemaje?
Kuja.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi cha jamii na itikadi.
Kaini kitako tuna mengi.
Mapenzi yanapoanza watu huitana bebi na majina mengine matamu, lakini baadaye penzi linapogeuka na kuwa shubiri,
mtu anafikia kwenda kumtafuta mke mwingine.
Itakuwaje?
Yule wa kwake nyumbani labda hajamridhisha.
Ni sawa ama vipi Maliki?
Dadangu, wanaume ni kama maembe.
Huyu ni mwanamume atakuja abadiliki.
Mwanaume mwenye wanawake wengi hata katika uchumba, kwenye ndoa ataendelea. Mtu na tabia yake hawachi. Ile umbo la kike likishaanza kila kitu kishaanza kuwa mahali pake.
Ningependa kukuona.
Sijaenda mahali ambapo mimi nilisikia mtu ati huyu alikuwa shujaa, alikufa katika mstari wa mbele wa ndoa. Sijawahi sikia mimi.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Bidii yao ya mtu wa kazini ni dhahiri shairi.
Through the grace of God, tumemanage because we've been consistent.
Pilka za kuruzuku familia zao ndicho kibogizo chao.
Wakati mwingine wanakosa kazi.
Hapa ndipo tunawapa nafasi kuangazia kwa kina.
It doesn't get easier.
So I guess it's been a lot of challenges.
Basi kwa uketo kamili, usikose makala ya hapa kazi tu kila siku ya Jumatatu.
Our main goal was how do we help one person from Dandora or from this area to better their lives.
Saa 2 kamili kwenye runinga ya Lookup na Moses Okech.
Hi, and welcome to Tujenge Home. Your #1 show when it comes to all things architecture, real estate, property development, interior design. You get it right here on Tujenge Home. When the food is ready.
You want to serve them?
Dinner is served. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
How do women do it? Will the real superheroes please stand up? Welcome to the best show on all things women.
You can.
Now we have to tell you, on our show, we're not just talk. We're mothers, wives, working women, your hosts, and the list goes on. We also know how to relax and have some fun. It's living the life. Yes, it is.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experience,
As of December last year, KQ's loss stood at a record of 38.26 billion, triggering debates on the operational and financial status of Kenya Airways that demands for a thorough probe into the cause of the losses. Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka, however, introduced a twist during the Senate debate, stating that the KQ belongs to two business entities, Serengeti Investments and Savo Holdings, a matter that raised eyebrows and created uproar on social media.
I know for fact, because I have got the facts, I can sit here and explain to you all the details about what happens. The feeling I have is that in this country, very many of us in leadership, and indeed people of substance, people who should be standing up and talking about certain things which are, even if it means they're sensitive and they are critical, we don't bother. Whether it is money that is being stolen at the county government or whether it is money that is being stolen at the national government.
The Kisii legislator stood his ground, stating pilots sent to Brazil to pick new aeroplanes from the assembly plant did not use released documents from KQ.
Pilots were being sent to Brazil to go and bring the aeroplanes, and they would sign documents. You see, when you pick an aeroplane from the assembly plant and you are flying it to Kenya, you are actually to sign a release document. When these release documents were being signed, they were not being signed for KQ. They were being signed for Serengeti Investments and for Savo Holdings. It was done obviously because some people wanted to make money. The reality is, if you check from the time when KQ started buying the Embraer planes, because there's a difference between the Embraers because they are smaller and they consume less fuel, and it was a fantastic idea for KQ and the Kenyan government at that time to put money on the side to buy those aeroplanes. But you see, what happened is when those contracts were signed, after that is when KQ started making losses. And that is the same time, if you notice, when KQ decided to join the KLM, there's the KLM, Air France, KQ, there's this organization, just like now you have the Emirates and Qatar, they have their own arrangements internally. That is the time when, you can imagine, of all times, when the people who are managing KQ and the people who are managing the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority and the people who are managing all the statutory organizations which manage our, how do I put it, who manage our airspace. That is when they sold Heathrow. That is when they sold London.
In his words, a committee has been set up in Parliament and the Senate that will probe into the allegations, where he intends to table evidence including witnesses.
State capture investments which have made our country lose money for years and years. My feeling is that some of us have to start talking about them. We understand the risks, we understand the consequences, but sometimes, so what? The reality is, they say the truth and it will set you free.
Kenya Airways posted an operational loss of 5.6 billion last year, whereas pre-tax losses incurred was more than double to 38.3 billion for the year, as foreign currency losses impacted the carrier's financial performance. The net loss also exceeded the 36 billion it lost in 2020. Senators want Kenya Airways investigated for perennially making huge losses despite frequent bailouts by the government. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookuptv.
We do apologize for that short technical hitch. Now, the new government model of funding universities has received a mixed reaction from different stakeholders in the country. According to the educational analyst Jen Muthiga, the model will be much better if it is extended to public universities. Shada Kareria now reports.
As Kenyans tries to understand the new university funding model, education stakeholders have continued adding weight into the heated debate.
Universities and TVETs will no longer receive, under the new funding model, block funding in form of grants based on differentiated unit costs. The government has resolved that university funding will henceforth be student-centered.
According to President William Ruto's pronouncement on Wednesday, the new funding method will only help needy students and not any other student as it used to be.
Students will be categorized according to 4 levels of need. Vulnerable, actually 3 levels: vulnerable, less vulnerable, and able.
According to the education analyst Jen Muthiga, the new model has both positive and negative angles depending on its implementation formula.
The negative impact is that if you are just basing the funding on the students, how about equipping these institutions? How about ensuring that they have got everything that they, prior to even an introduction of a faculty, they need basic funding to be able to do that. So are we going to now return to theory specifically, or university taking up courses that are a little bit easy and cheaper to implement rather than going to more capital intensive courses?
Jen recommends for the inclusion of the private universities in the new model, stating that they risk experiencing financial difficulties if they are left aside.
Vulnerable and very extremely needy, being fully sponsored by the government, I believe it's just the same funding that the government was initially giving to the university as a grant or as a fund. It's the same money they are now going to pick to be able to give to the university, but as school fees, as fees. So they have categorized it as fees rather than a grant.
On the implementation of the new model, Jane recommends for the right measures to be put in place to ensure that needy students benefit.
Chief is supposed to understand the community as well, but I think they also need to put the nyumba kumi aspect of it, because maybe the chief may not understand fully, or maybe fully the community as per se. They need to go a little bit deeper to the nyumba kumi formula and get that village, the nyumba kumi person, who can be able to say, yes, for sure, this particular child is it's needy among us, or is vulnerable among us.
Shadrach Kareria, Lookuptv.
Well, that story there marks the end of our Morning Drift News this morning. So let me step out with this question. What is the importance of discovering your self-worth? Let's only ask that question. What will be your direct answer? As a youth, do you know what your worth is? And what is this entire conversation around knowing what your worth is? You know what? We've got representatives from Man Talk 254. We're going to sit down and talk about that shortly once we come back from this break. This is the Morning Drift online and Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. The hashtag is the Morning Drift. Good morning.
Hey darling, are we still on for a coffee date?
I'm waiting for you to come and pick me up.
I should be able to pick you in a few.
It's a coffee yogurt date?
It's not just a yogurt, it's royal coffee yogurt.
Flow with the sweet taste of thick and smooth Royal Fresh coffee yogurt. Royal Fresh, the royal taste of freshness.
Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you a hands-on experience to handle the world. A place for you to join us. Ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Why Malindi? Any idea why the A-list celebrities, politicians choose Malindi as a destination? Is it the sandy, spotless white beaches, the rhythmic, relaxing oceanic waves, or is it the great potential investment opportunity that Malindi has to offer? Dark Balance, we are here with a variety of projects from as low as 99,000 shillings. You get an eighth of an acre with ready title deeds. Book your plot today with only 35,000 shillings and get a free return air ticket. Be the next investor in Malindi with Dark Balance. Call us now on 0740 888 111 or 0740 888 222. Dark Balance. We promise, we deliver. Why wait? 20 Malindi.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi cha jamii na itikadi.
Kaini kitako tuna mengi.
Mapenzi yanapoanza watu huitana bebi na majina mengine matamu, lakini baadaye penzi linapogeuka na kuwa shubiri,
mtu anafikia kwenda kumtafuta mke mwingine.
Itakuwaje?
Yule wa kwake nyumbani labda hajamridhisha.
Ni sawa ama vipi Maliki?
Dadangu, wanaume ni kama maembe.
Huyu ni mwanamume atakuja abadiliki.
Mwanaume mwenye wanawake wengi hata katika uchumba, kwenye ndoa ataendelea. Mtu na tabia yake hawachi. Ile umbo la kike likishaanza, kila kitu kishaanza kuwa mahali pake.
Ningependa kukuona.
Sijaenda mahali ambapo mimi nilisikia mtu ati huyu alikuwa shujaa, alikufa katika mstari wa mbele wa ndoa. Sijawahi sikia mimi.
Alright, welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is SIMBA Kiage. As I promised when we were starting the show, today we have a jam-packed session for you on this Friday, by the way, all the way up to 9:30. Now, I'm not alone in the studio. Just like I said, I'm joined by two gentlemen who are going to help us understand what we're calling self-worth for a youth. That's how essentially what our discussion is this morning. Now, let me introduce, I don't know whether we'll start with the real names or the names. I will do this. I'm just going to go in. Lex Jakababa or Eric Omone. How are you doing, Lex?
Very well.
Happy to have you around, man.
Happy to have you.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Can't wait to jump into that conversation as well. I also do have Mike, is it Dolesa or
Delisa.
Mike Delisa.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go by his full name, you can just call him Michael Lisalia. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Happy to have you around.
Thank you.
Now, let's do this. I want to start with you, Lex.
Pardon?
Self-worth. What is that? The worth of a youth. What are we talking about when we say understanding your worth as a youth?
You see, understanding your worth as a youth could be defined in so many different ways.
Yes.
And it really depends on how someone carries themselves, what someone is aspiring to be, and what someone is doing currently to try and reach their ultimate goal. But then you see, we are focusing mainly on the youth, the guys in the campus, sana. Because we find that most of their futures, their life is basically built on what they're currently doing in campus and how they carry themselves. You get? And that will basically define their future and define their worth.
That's it.
Yes. As youth currently are basically transitioning into now men, yes, who are building now the nation.
Pretty much. I'll be looking into Men 254. I'll be asking you what you guys are essentially up to. Mike, when we say worth for a youth, there's one thing that we youth talk about, like enjoy your youth completely, because the time is going to come when you're an adult when you won't have essentially the energy or the time to actually enjoy your youth.
Yeah.
Is it a bit confusing when you're telling this youth now, you see now though, for you to start building your worth or even then preparing for when you become a man or an adult, you gotta limit some of this, in quotes, enjoyments that we're talking about during our youth?
Yeah, sure. Knowing your worth is very important, especially in Swahili there's a saying that, or rather in Kikuyu, there's a saying that they say, uzee inakula ujana. So if you waste your time, then you'll end up crying in future. Yeah, so you need to know you are doing the do's and the don'ts.
Yes.
And how you carry yourself. That's the main name of the Man Talk 254.
Man Talk 254.
Yes.
Let's jump in then. Here's a university student. I would like to think that you met them when they've essentially just joined university. By then, they've not known even, majority of them have not even known what their career is going to be like. They've not even known how they're going to carry themselves in campus. And they say, one of the reasons that's why we go to campus is not to essentially build a life in campus, but to have the experience and the exposure that can then help you make a decision once you transition off campus. What is the one thing that you talk to the youth about, essentially when it comes to how they should conduct themselves in either college or campus?
You see, before joining college or campus, they already have some background. And I believe most people who join college or campus come from very good backgrounds, very good morals. And then joining campus, most of them are kind of misled most of the time. Especially first year, second year, before they realize that they're already wasting time, they're already on the third year and have wasted quite some time, and probably some performance have gone down.
Yes.
You get? And then, again, the other thing that we are talking to the youth about, especially in defining their worth, is when joining campus. You see, when you're fresh in campus, defining your group is very important. And you find that you will skip from friendship before you now discover your real friends, people who can help you. But then in that process, you find that most of our youth in campus get lost. And before they realize that, oh, I did this and this has happened, now I have to probably redo some of these courses, redo probably a whole semester, you've already wasted quite a lot of time.
That's true.
So what we are trying to talk to them about is immediately you join campus, know what you're focusing on, and try to look for people who are kind of like-minded, focusing on what brought you to campus and focusing on trying to start building your career from the onset. So that by the time you're getting to second year, by the time you're getting to third year, you already know, once I finish campus, I'm focusing on trying to get this job or trying to do this startup and trying to get these kind of people around me who can build me up now as a man.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. You're dealing with the young people, and you're actually competing with so many other things, especially when it comes to the culture around campus. So when do you, I would like to know the criteria that you, as Man Talk 254, use then to actually get this youth, so you start training them. It's actually a training per se. You're training them to actually put them in that line of discovering their self-worth, when you know very well that a time comes in campus, it's a time when majority of them have started to enjoy their freedom that they didn't get when they were back in high schools. It's a time when they want to discover their talent. It's a time when they want to discover who they are around drugs and alcohol, around peer pressure, and you know, the freedom that comes with being in campus. How do you attack this as Man Talk 254?
Okay, as the Man Talk 254, the first thing that we are doing, we are identifying the problem.
Okay.
Then after the problem, we come up with a solution. Then after the solution, we come up with a way forward. At least to give you a smooth guideline on how to handle yourself, or rather on how to know your worth. Yes, as a youth. Because you see, maybe if you're in campus or in college, there's this thing that we call mob psychology. And we end up losing a lot depending on your age group. Maybe you are trying to imitate someone. In the process, you will end up losing yourself, because maybe you are going to do extra, or rather it may tempt you to do something that is not the right direction. Maybe you will end up using drugs, depression, a thief, you know, such kind of things. So the moment we realize the problem is here, we'll try to come up with a solution, and then we'll try to come up with a good way forward.
Yes. How do we identify these groups of youth who are in campus that you want to talk to as a Man 254?
As for now, we've identified a few colleges and campuses, or rather even institutions. So we have a calendar. We have a calendar that we are working on from early this month, because this is the time that they are opening their colleges. That's true. So we'll be visiting them. Like Tuke University did their research. They did a survey where they identified the problems that you're going to tackle. So we have the legal advisors and the professionals who are going to handle their case there. Yeah.
Pretty much. Lax. I keep on, I will take you back to the same point that normally campus is a time for self-discovery. That's when majority of them even come out saying, maybe I was not even supposed to study education after 4 years. We do know how career and career choices go. Some of them are actually taking these courses because their parents have said, well, you gotta choose this one. Or out of the qualification, because you just had to go to campus, what you wanted essentially, you didn't land on it, so you just gotta go to campus because essentially your folks wanna take you to campus. Within that self-discovery, and when you're talking this to this youth, have you managed to change the mindset of some of them, saying, well, you see, you might not actually end up in whatever it is that you've started on?
I refer to some discussion that we had in some institution. We went to Orthodox seminary.
Yes.
And you'd expect those students to be well kept, not vulgar, very well behaved. Outside, when you look at them, that is basically what you
That's the picture that you get, yes.
That's the picture that you'd get. But then we discovered that even in church-based institutions, especially these were boys who were confined in some kind of a way, and they're next to another institution, and you see they were talking about having restrictions on talking to ladies on the other institution, because this is now basically a boys' institution. They are having restrictions on basically these things that involve self-discovery, sexual discovery, and all that. So we discovered that, because that was our first institution.
Yes.
So we discovered that there are a lot of things that are going on, especially on in colleges for the first joiners, and then as they progress, they are now pulled into different groups that lead them different ways. There are groups that will focus on learning, focusing on career. There are groups that will focus on drugs abuse and all that. There are groups that will just basically, if it's men, that will focus on ladies.
Yes.
If it's ladies, will basically focus on hunting men and all that. You get?
Yes.
And then what we said, because that was our first institution, so from there, we had a serious discussion with them, because we had already identified the problem. We came up with some kind of a solution, and this is guided basically by their lecturers, because they already know them. Apparently, these guys know what these young men go through. They don't have a platform to help them.
Yes.
And I really don't think there is a government institution that focuses on mentoring these young people. Because, again, it's a difficult task. Going through all the colleges and universities, you might not get enough time. So what we are focusing on is capturing them at the inception. Joining campus, tunaanza na wewe. Then we move on, and then after we have the initial discussions, we make follow-up discussions on the same, so that we see. Because we are again planning to go back to Orthodox seminaries to just make follow-up on the discussions that we had, to see if we had any impact
on it.
If there wasn't much impact, then we plan on inviting other people to help us now impact whatever we are trying to give them.
Yes.
So that the end game is to have an empowered boy child, to have a responsible boy child, to have a boy child that can help us build the nation. Not those guys when wanasemanga jenga inchi sisi tutakuja kupaka rangi.
Mike, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I kept on saying we needed just a long time to discuss these issues.
Yeah,
and we're getting told that we only have 8 minutes. That's why I'm really trying to pick these issues, so when we come back now, then we can set this conversation.
Okay.
One of the things that you're going to find, especially in men or these young adults now already going to campus, is that even before they start to even talk about career choices, how to relate to people, even how to pick your friends, that you gotta build their self-esteem issues. That's the major issue. Majority of them now, like I said, they find themselves in a place where all of a sudden you got no supervision, you got the ability to choose whatever it is you want, do whatever it is you want. Some of them don't even go to class because there is that liberty of no good doing that. Is that an issue that you focus on? Building the self-esteem of these young men to the point that they can actually identify themselves. Because one of the reasons why majority of them lose track is low self-esteem issues.
Sure. Yeah. Because keeping in mind, hii maisha ni yangu, shughulika na
yako.
Yeah, we need to mentor them. That's what we are doing. We want to mentor them actually to know their worth kabisa. See ati unafuata tu mob psychology, you're just there following others and what they are doing. No, we just want to keep a good track of them and make sure we mentor them in the right way.
That's it.
Starting from there. Yeah, tukianzia chini, we go up. That will mentor them.
How do you achieve candid conversations in your talks with these young men? How do you achieve that environment where jamaa anaweza kuambia by the way mimi kinanisumbanga hapa shule ni madem, and then I'm imagining that is essentially in that group of young guys that you're speaking to. How do you achieve that environment?
Hey, it's a tricky one, but you have to to be right with your points,
Yes.
But it's a very tricky one. It's a tricky one. Mwanaume ajitolea anze kuambia tu story yake. But imagine they open up. They do. Because they don't have that platform and they really want to share. Yeah.
Or it's just a lack of platform that essentially helps them share as well.
Exactly.
Pretty much. Lex, I want you to jump in on that.
Yes.
Just creating that environment for this, because the only way that you can walk out of a discussion and then say, essentially, tumefanya kazi huko, is just how blunt those conversations are going to be. Somebody stands up and gives you a life story, a life experience. How do you achieve that environment?
You know what really happens or what exists in these colleges and universities?
Yes.
They have groups. They have ladies groups that work on supporting ladies. They have groups for gentlemen that work on supporting the gentlemen.
Yes.
That is what we discovered. But inside these groups, it's just the students and probably one lecturer or the dean of students who is taking them through all these 4 years. You see, you cannot be having the same conversation on building your self-worth with the same person for like 4 years.
Indeed.
That is what we discovered. And we are really trying to build on that and to penetrate. Because we've had meetings with these university lecturers, because again, they have to know who they will be taking to their students to talk to.
That's true.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, so we had some very candid discussions with the universities and college leaderships. And they told us that, okay, there are some universities that told us, you see, we have a group that tries to mentor these young men.
Yeah.
But basically, we do not have some dedicated team that can bring in different people to guide them. So you see now that is our penetration line.
Yeah, I can see that.
So with the guidance of these lecturers, and because these are some of the people that they are very close with,
yes,
then we come in, build that relationship, because it's not just a one-time talk. It's not like we are coming, discussing, and then we are leaving, no follow. We are making that connection with them.
Yes.
We go the initial discussion, we sit with the group that has already been created, discuss with them, and then tell them we are coming back after this time. And what we'll be doing is we need you to bring in more people. You know these students, because they're your fellow students, you know the problems that they are going through. You can identify who is using drugs. You can identify who is not performing well in class, and you know where the problem starts. So bring them so that we mentor them from there. And then from there we just make very frequent follow-ups just to make sure that this group brought us this guy. He was an addict. He is trying to concentrate in class, but there are some things that are pulling him back.
Yes.
We are trying to withdraw him from that. And how are we doing? So after some time, you will now get to know where exactly this student is. Kama ame withdraw,
yes,
na naendelea na masomo vizuri, or if there's anything else that we can do beyond just having one-on-one discussions with them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, just as we, come to the end, but painfully, wow. This is when I'm just starting.
It's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So now, do you envision Mantalk 254 growing into a club in these universities and colleges they've already started speaking to, so that now by the end of the day, probably in 5 years' time, you will say, well, you see, young men in universities already have Mantalk 254. When they sit down, talk about their issues, and from there, we try and give them solutions. Is that the long-term view of whatever it is that you've started?
Actually what we are doing, I'm doing it out of passion.
Yes.
He's doing it out of passion.
Yes.
So if you're doing something out of passion, you want the best out of it. So for us, we don't want to start something that will end up tomorrow. No, we want something that is long-term. That's why even on our YouTube channel, you'll find we have a Telegram link where you can engage with us. Maybe you want to interact freely with us.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a link there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Lex, your mentorship program is another thing that essentially is lacking in our education system. And it's a good thing that you're pointing it out, that, you see, majority of them do lack mentors, guys who can walk with them through the journey. And I know you've spoken to some of them. They're telling you, Bana, you know, campus life ni hard. You know, you're fighting so much. Food in your haiko, you know, you're trying to find. Some of them are fighting poverty even in these campuses. You know, you look around, some of your kids are rolling. Some of them are coming to school in big cars, and you're here trying to even figure where the next meal is going to come from. How are you going to approach this mentorship area? Are you going to see Man Talk 254 now grow to the point that you'll have a pool of mentors who essentially are going to go into these clubs and continue talking to these boys?
Yeah, we actually currently have quite a big team. We have very good mentors like Mike. We have Pastor Alan Asava. Then we have Pastor Mugadizi. So these are clergies.
Yes.
And then besides that, we have doctors.
Yes.
We have one doctor who's already joined us, Charles Ngodo, who works with the Nairobi Women's Hospital. What we are looking at is growing the Man Talk 254 into an organization that is fully equipped with all cadres of personalities. You need a doctor to talk to students about STIs, STDs, diseases that they cannot talk to. We have doctors.
Yes.
You need lawyers. We'll be having lawyers. That is our end game. You need media personalities. We'll be having someone like you.
Call me.
To assist us in guiding some of these students. Our end game is to ensure that we have a generation of young men who can build the nation. Basically, this Generation Z, the employers, the employees, they are not employers. They are not innovators. They are looking at coming in and capturing what you've already created and getting something out of it. They don't want to create something for themselves that can assist or help other people. And then again, we'll be focusing again on making follow-up even to families to see that we have a coexistence. You have enough to pay your school fees, feed yourself, and you are having extra. And there's this other guy who is not even able to get food yet, he's in campus. How can we share whatever you have? And make sure that this other guy also grows up and probably tries to match your level.
You know what, guys? I'll call you back. Let's fight with the producer Mary after this. We gotta give more time.
We have a lot to
discuss the surface of this conversation. Guess what? The Man Talk 254, helping the youth understand what their worth is. On YouTube, you guys are on the Man Talk 254.
The Man Talk 254.
Want to check them out? You know exactly what to do. The Man Talk 254 on YouTube, and talk to us right here at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. We painfully end this conversation. Once we come back, then the beautiful Miss Muguru Kimani is back with the DJ Coldly Tired. Like we promised, let's tuchome studio kidogo, and then once we come back, Miss Muguru Kimani will be coming again with a bigger conversation with one very popular music artist in the country. I'll be telling you who that is shortly after this. Good morning.
Welcome to the show. This is the Cook Off with Alex Karani, where we get to cook some sumptuous, yummy food. Do you know how to cook?
I actually consider myself to be a good cook.
Bana hizi zitaungua damoni.
Kuna maji?
Maji si ndio hiyo hapo. Ametumia maji yote. Ametumia maji yote.
Unajua kwa Masai kuna ugali nyingine inaitwa kiteke. Unaweka mafuta alafu unaweka chumvi alafu unapika ugali alafu unakula na maziwa.
So unataka tukule kitekeo? I don't know, man.
These people have been in marriage for 28 years without a child.
We have gone through ups and downs of life, but through all this, she has remained very, very prayer.
At what point, or after how many years in your marriage, did you discover that you could not bear a child?
Normally it is not a year. You expect to get to conceive almost immediately because like ladies, There is a period for a woman to become pregnant almost every month.
So today is their son's birthday.
Yes, by the way we've come
Mitch
on a
is
birthday.
turning 5 today.
Wow.
And we are here because of Mitch.
Usiwahi cheza na mboga yangu. Na unafuata nani? Usisikuone ukinifuata. Nimekwambia huna shares kwa hii kuku.
You got the roof, man. Hebu kwanza rudi ndani ufresh hiyo choo na make sure umespray.
Juli, kwani wewe? Hii tumbo yako mimi najua inaweza ingiza kila kitu. Hata chuma nikishiaga nikupea hata plastic najua utakula. Kwani leo kunaendaje? Kuna kitu sielewi.
Kabisa Mluya. Yaani umeamua kulala uchi.
Sasa kama hakuna ile nguo inanitosha unataka nifanye aje?
Because you are fat.
Sasa ukiongelea mimi ati fat. Na Julie tutasemaje?
Kuja.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi cha jamii na itikadi.
Kaini kitako tuna mengi.
Mapenzi yanapoanza watu huitana bebi na majina mengine matamu, lakini baadaye penzi linapogeuka na kuwa shubiri,
mtu anafikia kwenda kumtafuta mke mwingine.
Itakuwaje?
Yule wa kwake nyumbani labda hajamridhisha.
Ni sawa ama vipi Maliki?
Dadangu, wanaume ni kama maembe.
Huyu ni mwanamume atakuja abadiliki.
Mwanaume mwenye wanawake wengi hata katika uchumba, kwenye ndoa ataendelea. Mtu na tabia yake hawachi. Ile umbo la kike likishaanza kila kitu kishaanza kuwa mahali pake.
Ningependa kukuona.
Sijaenda mahali ambapo mimi nilisikia mtu ati huyu alikuwa shujaa, alikufa katika mstari wa mbele wa ndoa. Sijawahi sikia mimi.
Hi, and welcome to Tujenge Home. Your number one show when it comes to all things architecture, real estate, property development, interior design. You get it right here on Tujenge Home. When the food is ready.
You want to serve them?
Dinner is served. Let's go. Let's go.
Michezo na wachezaji, matukio na matokeo uwanjani. Tumejifunga kibwebwe kukuletea mbwembwe. Si mazungumzo ya kusisimua. Ndiyo maana safu ya spoti ipo hapa kwa ajili yako. ZFC! Nami hapa nahodha Robert Chacha, sisuisui na kuandalia kipindi bomba cha safu ya spoti kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia saa 7:30 ndani ya runinga nambari 1 ya michezo Lookuptv.
Bidii yao ya mtu wa kazini ni dhahiri shairi.
Through the grace of God.